what it do? What it do? It's your boy, and I'm back at it on a Monday night message. Hey, we thank God for each and every one of you. We thank God for your participation. Thank God for Dr. McKinnis allowing someone like myself to use these platforms each and every Monday night. We thank God for you, sir. And a special thank you to our very own Sister First Lady for looking out for your boy last week. Appreciate that, T. God bless you. Hey, today we want to do something a little different. So I just ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Be blessed. Holla at your boy. I would like to invite your intellect to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 5. Luke, chapter 5. Commence reading at verse 12. It reads this way. And it came to pass, when he was in a certain city, behold, a man full of leprosy, who seeing Jesus, fell on his face and besought him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And he put forth his hands and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately the leprosy departed from him. Verse 14 says, and he charged him to tell no man, but go and show thyself to the priest, and offer for thine cleansing, according as Moses commanded, for a testimony unto them. But so much the more went their fame abroad him, and a great multitude came together to hear, and to be healed by him of their infirmities. Verse 16, watch this, says, and he withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed. Just for a few moments, I want to talk from the thought of, he did it for me. He did it for me. Now, looked at this thing pretty good. Looked at this thing and it started bothering me. So I just had to go back and dig just a little bit further. It started bothering me on the week before last. I just had to go back and touch this, because if we can all be honest, all of us have a testimony. All of us can testify some point of our time, no matter how jacked up our lives have been, all of us can testify that he has did it for me. If all of us can be honest with one another, we can testify that life has its share of ups and downs. Sometimes we don't know which direction we're going in. But because of the teachings of our elder generation, they have taught us that no matter what you go through in this life, baby, only thing you need to do is trust in God. And because they have instilled that into our heart, and because they have instilled that into our spirit, we know and we can testify that no matter how the situation may be, we can come out of this thing with a testimony that he did it for me. Life isn't always fast. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to good people that cause them to cry. Sometimes bad things happen to the good people that cause them to stay up in the wee hours of the midnight hour. Sometimes bad things cause good people to cry late at night and walk the floor at night. But baby, I just want to encourage you, just keep on holding on to God's unchanging hand. You will come out with a testimony saying he did it for me. Growing up in the 90s in a Black Baptist church, it was somewhat intriguing and interesting, because we see our forefathers and our grandmothers and our grandparents, they knew how to shout. They were not ashamed to shout. They were not ashamed to tell God, thank you for blessing me, because they had a testimony on the tip of their tongues that he did it for me. To be honest, there are a few of us that have that old school faith, that don't have the money to pay your bills. We don't have the means to put bread on the table, but we know that the Lord will work it out somehow. And we'll have a testimony that's so great that we'll stand like Superman with an S on our chest and poke our chest out and tell a dying world that he did it for me. So much for the case that we are being presented with today. Luke, whom happens to be a skillful and intelligent individual who pays homage to a compassionate, caring, and considerate Christ. He exemplifies the nature of Jesus' heart by showing that he has care for the sick and for the lost. In this text, we must examine the exposition in its entirety when it comes to the epitome of this text. What a beautiful picture being painted by this skillful physician, which exemplifies Christ's constant compassion on those who experience chaos and critical crises. Luke deserves a standing ovation from the way he intellectually implements the improvements in chapter 2 through 21. And we as the missionary Baptists call that ministry. Right there, right here in this chapter, we'll see that a tragedy it transforms into a testimony. We'll see a man that has been bound in sickness but was blessed in seconds. We'll see a man who is considered to be contagious but becomes a survivor from a Savior. Just imagine one day that you are all on the up and up. Everything is going fine. Children are doing good in school. You're paying your tithes. Job is going well. But all of a sudden, in a matter of seconds, just in a matter of a second, things take a left turn. But can I just tell you, God is just testing your faith. God is just testing your faith, and he just want to see how bad that you trust him. You're able to come out of that situation, and you'll tell somebody that he did it for me. This man, Dr. McCants, has been separated from society because of his illness. This disease has now attacked his physical anatomy. But it did not stop his determination. In other words, he was a spiritual go-getter. And can I just pump the brakes right there? That God is calling some folks out to be a spiritual go-getter. God don't need no weak folks. God don't need no soft folks. He needs somebody that's going to go out and tell somebody about how he'll bring you out. He needs somebody to tell somebody that God is so amazing. He is full of grace and he is full of mercy. God needs some spiritual go-getters. I know what you're saying. I know what you're wondering. How can I apply to be a spiritual go-getter? You can apply by falling down on your knees, having a little talk with Dr. Jesus, because he'll make everything all right. You can apply your faith by having a relationship with the one who made you. You can apply by being a spiritual go-getter by coming to church every Sunday, being a helping hand in the church and in the community. You can be a spiritual go-getter by keeping your relationship with God active. This man is messed up from the floor up. And I don't want y'all to look at this man, because sometimes a lot of us are messed up. But because of God's grace and mercy, our messed upness, sometimes he doesn't allow everybody to see it. This man had some issues. Before we can divinely dispose discomfort and say that he worked it out for me, the first thing that the text shows us that we must take action of anticipation and acknowledgement. My. The action that he takes, watch this, is that he defies the rules and the regulations of society. Watch this, because anyone who was in this position had to be separated from normal society. They had to identify themselves by being unclean, by shouting and alerting anyone, unclean, unclean. When someone hears that this individual was unclean, that they'll know to stay away from them. Watch this. Segregation was a must, but it was unclear, watch this, how the man got to Jesus. Watch this, because Luke's narration becomes somewhat narrow. Watch this. He paints a perfect picture, but his validity is somewhat vague because the way in verse 12 is orchestrated and constructs Luke's penmanship, which makes it seem as if this man appears out of nowhere. Okay, watch it. Because verse 12 said, and it came to pass when he was in a certain city, behold, a man full of leprosy, seeing Jesus, fell on his face, besought him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt. Watch this. He said, and it came to pass. That's what Luke said. And it came to pass when he was in a certain city. Behold. It didn't say the man jumped over the fence. It didn't say he ran down the fence. It just said, behold. He says, behold, a man full of leprosy. This man's action led to his anticipation. And his anticipation was composed by the elements of faith, because he first recognized Jesus for who he was. And can I just tell you that whenever you wake up early in the morning, you ought to recognize the Lord for who he is. Because I'm here to tell you, it wasn't your alarm clock that woke you up. It was Jesus who touched you with a finger of love. I just want to tell somebody that you ought to recognize God for who he is, because it wasn't your bank account that supplied the home that you're living in. I just want to tell somebody that you ought to recognize who Jesus really is, because it wasn't the medicine that you put in your body that made you heal. It was the Lord who touched it. Is there anybody say, no matter what I'm going through on this night, on this Monday night, I'm going to recognize him, because it was him that put money in my pocket. It was him that put running in my feet. It was him that put clapping in my hand. Is there anybody up in here going to testify and say it was nobody but him? Not only he recognized Jesus for who he was, but he knew that he can do it. Watch this. Watch this. His action and his anticipation had a great divine support system. The support system that he had was faith. And can I just tell you, whenever you pray, it ain't no need to worry. And if you're going to worry, ain't no need of praying. Because if you have faith, you know that God will bring you out of your situation. And you'll have a testimony and say, he did it for me. He acknowledged Jesus by calling him Lord. But he does not acknowledge him just by his name, but he acknowledges him by his divine and supernatural life-changing capabilities. When you know for a fact who Jesus is, they can talk about you all they want. When you know who Jesus is and what he can do, people can put you down all they want. When you know for who Jesus is and what he can do, people can criticize your name all they want, because Jesus will turn it around. Jesus will pick you up whenever you're down. Watch this. And you'll boldly say, he did it for me. This shows, if you're going to say he did it for me, the first thing you must do, We said you must take action of anticipation and acknowledgement. But not only you must take action of anticipation and acknowledgement, but watch this. He says you must accept the absence of your afflictions. Because verse 13 says, and he put forth his hands and he touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately, the leprosy departed from him. Watch this. Christ takes immediate action by implementing a substantial interaction, first of all, by making a physical contact. Because the text now says that he put forth his hands. And the text said, and he put forth his hands. Can I just tell you, there's something about the hands of the Lord. And I don't know about you, baby, but it's something about the hands of the Lord. It's the hands of the Lord that can touch you when you're not feeling your best. It's the hands of the Lord that can make your car not want to start when you want to ride on some folks. It's the hands of the Lord that can keep you when you have a blowout on the interstate. It's the hands of the Lord that will strengthen your heart when your heart is broken. Is there anybody up in here that knows something about the hands of the Lord? He makes physical contact because the text says he put forth his hand. But watch this. The problem that we have, we let any and everybody put their hands on us. I know it's going to get quiet right there. We allow people to touch us that don't have a genuine and divine connection with the Lord. Instead of seeking divine connections, we seek it from our family. Knowing good and well, they don't mean us any good. Knowing good and well that they don't have our best interests at heart. Knowing good and well they really don't care about us. Knowing good and well they gonna talk about it. We seek a divine connection sometimes, and we seek love from and attention from jobs and co-workers when they don't care about you. They'll hire you today and be gone tomorrow. And to be honest, if you're going to seek a divine connection, you must have the right connection. How is it? How do you seek a right connection? First of all, you must develop a relationship with your Creator. Y'all gonna talk to me? Society has already given up on this young man. But he looks to Jesus. And I just want to tell you, when it gets rough and when it gets hard, that you need to look to Jesus. Don't look to anybody else, but look to Jesus, because he can see you through. He supplies physical contact by touching him, but he also provides verbal communication by informing him that his infirmity no longer exists. In the B clause of the text in verse 13, Christ tells him, he says, I am the solution. In other words, you have come to the right place. I know that some of you may get weary and well doing, but Jesus is the answer that you need. You don't need Buddha. You don't need Elijah Muhammad. You don't need that rabbit's foot. You don't need that chicken foot, but you need Jesus, because he is one that can pull you through. He is one that can answer your prayers.
We pray that each and every one of you have enjoyed that message. We ask you to continuously to stay in the faith, no matter what's going on. We also encourage each and every one of you to continuously to give, whether by in person or by mail. If you choose to do so by mail, it's P.O. Box 948. You can also give at your fingertips by going to Givelify, St. Paul Baptist Church, Greenville, Alabama, or a Cash App, $ St. Paul MBC, all caps, 334. We just ask each and every one of you just keep on pushing and everything is going to be all right. Because at the end of the day, you'll have that testimony. He did it for me. Till next time, see you next Monday. Yes. Adios, amigos.